You want to know how to quit smoking? I'm going to give you 10 steps on quitting smoking properly, effectively. Let's start out by this quote. Mark Twain said, "Quitting smoking is easy. I've done it 1,000 times," which means he probably failed 1,000 times. I don't know if he ever was able to quit. A lot of you can relate to that. You quit, you start again. You quit, you start again. So how do I make it permanent? How do I do it correctly? Well, you got to plan it out. So step number one would be you set a date, because you want to mentally prepare yourself for when you're going to do it. And so decide when you're going to stop and go with it and stick with it. Up to that date, you plan and prepare. Second one, you need to know your motivation. Why are you doing it? So I had a patient of mine, she had a chest x-ray and they found a spot in one of her lungs, and the next day she stopped smoking. And she was smoking a lot prior to that, but then she saw the spot on her lungs, she goes, "I'm done." And she never touched cigarettes again. That's motivation right there, because she thought, oh my goodness, this could be cancer. It turned out, thankfully, it was not cancer. It didn't become a problem, but she hasn't touched a cigarette in years. And it was because of that. Now I said, "How do you feel not smoking?" And she said, "You know what? I want cigarettes. But I realized I wanted cigarettes before I quit too. Every couple hours I wanted a cigarette. That hasn't changed. I still want cigarettes. So what's the difference? Except back then I used to smoke and now I don't, but that desire didn't go away." And so she came to terms with the fact that she's always going to have that desire. Motivation. I had another patient who said, "I can't quit smoking." I go, "Do you have children?" She goes, "Yeah, I have 2 little ones." "How old are they?" "Oh, 5 and 7. Okay, great. Well, next time you're smoking, I want you to light up 2 other cigarettes and give it to your 5-year-old and 7-year-old when you all smoke together. And she goes, "I'd never do that." I said, "I know you would never do that." And she goes, "I don't even smoke in front of him." I said, "Good, you shouldn't, because a 5-year-old's lungs haven't fully developed yet, so you shouldn't smoke in front of a 5-year-old. However, I want you to visualize it. Just imagine you just lit up 3 cigarettes, 1 for yourself, 2 for your kids, and you're smoking together. Just imagine that." She goes, "That makes me sick to my stomach." I go, "Exactly. If you don't want them to do it." A lot of kids smoke because their parents smoked. We have to have the right motivation. What's your motivation? Is it health reasons? Is it because you're spending too much money? What I want you to do, here's an exercise I learned from Tony Robbins a long time ago, and I don't know what he calls it, but you remember the movie Christmas Carol? Ghost of Christmas, Present, Past, and Future? So do that. Say, present time, I'm a smoker. What's that doing for me? How has it affected me in the past? "Oh yeah, you know what? So-and-so said I had bad breath. My teeth were yellow." Just go back and look at all the painful experiences you've had in the past that led you to today to decide, hey, I want to quit. And then what I want you to do next is I want you to imagine 5 years from now. You're 5 years older. You never quit smoking. What do you look like? How does your breath smell? What does your face look like? Look at yourself in the mirror. How many friends do you have? How much money have you spent? What's your life like? And you failed over and over and over. Now go 10 years and 20 years ahead. 20 years from now, you never quit. You've been smoking a pack a day every day for another 20 years. What do you look like? How do you feel? How would you act? Who are your friends? What's your social status? What's your economic status? And if you don't like what you see, now you come back to present and realize, hey, none of that's happened yet. Now you got your motivation. Step number 3, you got to educate yourself. Know that there's going to be withdrawal, and what are those withdrawal signs and symptoms? There's going to be cravings, there's going to be irritability, there's going to be mood swings. Plan ahead. Be like, when I get irritated, this is what I'm going to do. When I have mood swings, this is what I'm going to do. When I crave a cigarette, this is what I'm going to do. Number 4 is have a support system. Now, some people love to see you fail. Don't tell them you're quitting. Those people don't need to know. But there's some people who really want to see you succeed. They're going to support you. They're going to help you. Have that support system around you, or join a support group of people who are also quitting, and have accountability partners that you can talk to when you have those cravings. Number 5, I believe, is the number 1 most important step in this whole process, which means you cannot get rid of a habit. You have to replace one habit with another. That's just how human nature is. You cannot get rid of a habit. So decide what habit you're going to replace the habit of smoking with. And some people end up eating fast food and getting overweight. Some people just do other stuff that are just as harmful as smoking, and they replace one bad habit with another one. Pick a good habit. Pick something you like. Pick something that you would enjoy. What if every time you crave smoking, go outside as if you're going to smoke, do 10 jumping jacks, and then take 10 really deep breaths, oxygenate your body. Sometimes that deep breath actually fulfills the need for smoking. I'm not a smoker, so I don't know that, but I've heard this. Number 6, there are things like nicotine nicotine replacement therapies. There's gums, there's patches, there's lozenges. Figure out if there's something you can do to give your body a little bit of nicotine so you're not in the habit of smoking, but you're not going through a lot of withdrawals. Number 7, there's behavioral strategies you can go through. You can consider counseling. There's cognitive behavioral therapy you can look into. There are professional things that you can do that will help you. Consider that before that date comes when you're quitting, and see if that's something you want to do. Step number 8, you have to stay active and healthy and watch your diet. Because if you're active, let's say you start exercising, your mood's going to be good. You're not going to have those downturns. You're not going to have those mood swings. If you're healthy, then you're not going to feel weak and tired and be like, I want to go smoke a cigarette. So be very, very careful. Chiropractic is one. I'm a chiropractor, so I'm always going to promote chiropractic. Now, there's this thing called the brain-body reward cascade. When it's interrupted, you have a higher tendency to become addicted to something. Chiropractic feeds the brain-body reward cascade. So just getting adjusted on a regular basis makes you feel good. Also, you'll have less pain, less tendency to be a smoker. Step number 9, we have 2 more. Number 9 is avoid the things that trigger you. So don't keep cigarettes around. You know, growing up, we always had an ashtray with a pack of cigarettes on the coffee table next to the fruit bowl and the bouquet of flowers. That's just how our house was always ready for guests. But people smoked back then. It was common. You go to someone's house, you smoked. Don't keep lighters around. Don't keep cigarettes around. Don't let yourself see ashtrays that remind you, and avoid places where everybody's smoking. Number 10, this is the third most important of the 10 steps. Celebrate your milestones. You got to reward yourself. If something is to become a habit, you need a reminder, a ritual, and a reward. The reward is the most important one. Kind of like Pavlov's dog, right? You give yourself a treat. Now, make sure that treat is healthy, but you got to reward yourself. So you make it through 1 week without smoking. What are you going to do? Hey, I'm going to go play golf. I'm going to reward myself with that. I'm going to take my girlfriend or my wife on a date, and we're going to celebrate 7 days of no smoking. After 30 days, you give yourself a coin. Engrave yourself a little metal coin that says, great job, 30 days, no cigarettes. Put it in your pocket. Now, when you put your hand in your pocket, you see that coin, you feel that coin, you're like, hey, that's my reward. Those are your 10 steps. Review them really, really quick. Set a date. Find your motivation. Clarify that. Educate yourself on what it's going to be like to go through the withdrawals. Get a support system. Replace the bad habit with a good habit. Look into nicotine replacement therapy, behavioral strategies. Stay active, healthy, diet, exercise. Number 9, avoid the triggers. And number 10, celebrate your victories. Good luck. If this is helpful, we did another video on the mistakes. You'll want to watch that one as well. So watch that video next, and it'll help you with this one. If this is helpful, share it with people you know that could benefit from this. Subscribe if you like. We'd really appreciate that, but we really appreciate you just watching and sharing. Thank you so much. Take care. We'll talk soon.